In 2014, and this is a long time back in today's age, the IoT Forum predicted the size of the Indian IoT market, and it's there. You will see there. I don't know if this. Okay. So we predicted. We looked at industrial. Smart government was not a big factor there, so we didn't do that. And we predicted some numbers, and you can see that at our IoT wiki. At the bottom, you will see we have an IoT wiki. We predicted a number. Madan Mohan, who's my friend at UStory, published that. And it became very, very visible to a lot of people. NASSCOM came back with a number which was slightly higher. And to make up the sandwich, Deloitte came back with a number which was slightly lower. Now, today is 219. 220 is not too far away. And just like GDP, nobody really knows what the number is. So I shall not get into discussion on how much we have done in IoT. So I'm sorry, this is auto slide or something, it's going. So this is just the size of the market. Cisco, of course, has done a wonderful job. Internet of everything. Numbers are large. And I keep getting asked, Sanjeev, who runs the NASSCOM IoT series, keeps asking me, you are the guy who thinks, tell me how to calculate these numbers. The government keeps asking how many devices are there in India. I told him, okay, we can redefine the devices to whatever number you want. Because phones are also IoT devices. Anyway, so this is the next one, and this one, sorry. Yeah, this one is important. The distinction between high and low, the blue is low, the black is high, is very large. You can see it is very large, and that is the difference in estimations. It depends on which levers work. So certain levers will increase automation a lot, increase IoT a lot. A lot of that has to do with cost, which is a factor which was discussed earlier. And though you may hear from everything, security is not a big factor. Most consumers are not bothered about security because someone else is ensuring them. So it is much more cost and much more standards, much more interoperability. Some of my panelists may disagree with me, but that's fine. This is some of the research blocks that are matter. Machine research was the first one, and they were very good. They invented the word low-power wide area network, which has really taken up 46% of public IoT networks. Gartner bought them out. Harbor Research is the first consulting company which started IoT way back. They are the first, they are US-based. BCAM has done a huge amount of work with the 420 different IoT platforms. They have a navigation tool, and they have a consulting output to let you select the IoT platform you want. Macnations is a boutique. They are very, very deep on IoT platform middleware, and Altizon is featured in them, and they do a very great job. Of course, IoT Forum also does a very great job, if I may pat myself. Sudha Jamte is someone I would recommend you to watch her YouTube. She runs a course at Stanford on autonomous cars and all that. But you will be surprised, and it's hilarious. The YouTube video she runs, it's about interviewing people in different cities of the world, practitioners on how they're using IoT. And it's fascinating how people see it and how people do it. And again, at the bottom, you will see the IoT wiki. You can go and check some of these things. This is the IoT stack, and I must thank Som for forcing me to think through this and write it out. Typically, when you see the plates from McKinsey, etc., they completely mess it up. The most important thing is the touch point. In IoT, there is no GUI. There is no user interface. It's API to API, machine to machine, and that makes it very difficult for provisioning and for security. And the IoT platform is a specialized device. It's not everything. Just like in telecom or in TV stations, set-top box management is different than billing. So applications are different than the IoT platform. It's just device management, configuring security keys, etc. And the gateway and sensor need not connect over the internet. I actually have a word, the un-internet of things. I have a bet with Sharad Sharma, iSpirit founder, that the internet will not be the dominant technology for IoT 10 years from now. I am 46% there. LoRa is not internet of TCP IP. So that's a rough idea about the technology stack. I don't know what happened, and it has gone. Can someone help get it? Snigdha, can you help get me back? Yeah, no, back. Okay, I'll get it. Yeah, okay. Okay, so this is the size of the different markets. You will see that China and Japan push. The Asia Pacific is a larger share of IoT worldwide than North America. Which is the factor? This is the 2016 survey we at IoT Next we presented. We had 10,000 patents analyzed. There are two things we should note. China has spent $800 billion on smart city and has invented the 700 megahertz spectrum. China is very important for future IoT, much more than you may think. The second, in the 10,000 patents we analyzed, it was not AI, it was not analytics, it may change now, but at that time, it was typically LP1, LoRa. It has huge momentum, and we had lot on sensors. And IoT platforms a little wide, and LoRa has happened. In India itself, 6 cities are using, 43% of open networks, public networks are LoRa. And this is an interesting thing we did that way. This is the size, how many sensors, how many commodities, etc. This is the list of standards organization. This is the bane of anyone who looks at IoT. There are just too many. There were about 43, I just put 22. They will probably collapse to 6 or 7. There are mergers, etc. But one standard body not going to happen. It's a very horizontal technology covering process industries, consumers, medical, etc. So that's one of the issues about standards. This is a forecast applications of the largest part of the business. All this will go on the website if you want a good copy. This is some of the top influencers. My favorite is, of course, David Stephenson, who used to run a blog, and is extremely critical of a lot of things. Sarah Cooper is good. Stacy does podcasts. They're pretty nice. This is the IoT directory, which we launched in the beginning, and we have around 1,600 companies. The printed edition has 1,487. This has grown from 123, about 20% growth this year. And you can see that we are spread across. We have 60 cities in which IoT startups are there in India, and we are across those 11 verticals. And we have a lot of depth, and we have some companies which are doing well. At IoT Day, we hosted 7 companies which have crossed 600 crores of funding, 3 lakh devices under deployment. Derek from Flutura is one of those companies which we did not feature. We have featured him too many times, so we have to give others a chance. But they are doing very well in oil, energy, and gas. Yeah, then we are coming to industrial IoT adoption. This is fine. This is the reasons for thing. And the factors is talent, people. And this is where India can make a big difference. We have the talent, we have the cost advantage, we have the quality advantage, and agility. And this is part of what could help us then. These are the events that could matter if we are looking at projecting IoT. And this is the last slide, which we presented in the morning. The factors that give us the leverage to be a global brand. Thank you.